I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
we need to, okay, there's the recording. Okay, now
Yes.
we go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, great. Good morning. Welcome everyone to the April 25th Connecticut Paid Leave Finance and Audit Committee meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's 9:03. Stephanie, can you please take attendance?
Yes, thank you, Ellen. Good morning, everyone. Adrian Cochran will not be joining us today. Andrea Comer.
Sure.
Thank you. Ellen McKitterick.
Present.
John Scott.
I am here.
Good morning. Mike Soltis.
Here.
Good morning. And Holly Williams will not be joining us, but we have a quorum. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Stephanie. I want to acknowledge the members of the public who came and joined us this morning. We're happy to have you here. I'll move to our first agenda item, a review and approval of the March 28th, 2025 meeting minutes.
So moved. Thank you, Andrea.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the motion carries. And I will now turn it over to Dave for an update on the draft budget for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Thank you, Ellen, and good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. So this is going to be, there we go. So this is going to be brief because we haven't had any changes to the budget since the last time presented it. So this will just be a high-level overview of what we have last time, just to refresh everybody on where the budget is. So the budget obviously is for fiscal year 26, the year coming up. And there's three parts to it: the operating, the bond, and the contribution budgets. The operating budget, the revenue coming in is budgeted at about $16.7 million. Most of that is the administrative fee. That is lower than the amount we've budgeted in the past of $20 million because we recognize that we're not going to because the expenses are at almost $16.9 million. So with that amount, it doesn't make sense to budget the 20 we usually have in the past. So we've ratcheted down to 16. Now, since the expenses are a little higher than the revenue, we do have a carry forward from the operating reserves we have now of about $160,000 that we will be applying to the fiscal year 26 operating budget. And as we discussed last time, what that means for the reserves is the following. So we have about $15.4 million in reserves now that the authority has accumulated over the past 4+ years. So what we'd like to do is redesignate that money back to the contribution fund where it can earn interest and be used for future expenses and benefits and things of that nature. Now, you'll see that the amount we're redesignating of $14.2 million is a little lower than the opening balance of 14.4. And again, that's because we're using $160,000 for the current fiscal year 26 budget. So that's why it's not dollar for dollar. And then the revenue, again, is 16.7. The expenses are 16.9. So the idea is for the operating budget to zero out at the end of the year, both at a P&L level and at a cash level at the end of the year. If there is any cash left over in the operating reserves, the procedure will be to redesignate that money into the contribution fund the next year and do that annually, so on and so forth. The bond budget, we're budgeting about $500,000 to spend of the approximately $1 million we'll have at the beginning of the year. The allocation is $16 million. The total bond authorized is $50 million. And just wanted to give everybody an update that the Legislative Finance Committee of the state of Connecticut has included language in their latest bond bill that reduces the total authorized amount from $50 million to $26 million. So that means we'd have an additional $10 million authorized that we could go to the bond commission and ask money for in future years. We don't have any plans to do that in the immediate future. We're not budgeting for that in fiscal year 26. This didn't come as a surprise. They did come to us and talk to us about this. And so we agreed that an additional $10 million was a fair amount for what we believed we needed in the future. The contribution budget is expected, the contribution fund is expected to have over $597 million in it by the end of the year. The major drivers are $490 million of payroll contributions coming in, $475 million of benefit payments going out. Again, those numbers were derived in conjunction with the actuaries and what their expectations are and the trends they see. The activity in the fund also includes benefit administrative payments, the administrative fee to the authority, our bond repayment we make every year. And as you can see towards the top, it does include the redesignation of the operating reserves being transferred from there to the contribution fund. And so all that results in a net activity to the contribution fund of over $12 million over the course of the fiscal year. So again, nothing changed from last time. We hope to finalize the budget with the Finance and Audit Committee today. We'll take it to the board next month on February 8th, where if they choose to do so, they'll approve it at that meeting. If they feel they need more time, they can have a special meeting by the end of the month to approve, or they can just say, we'll do it at the next regularly scheduled meeting in June. So that's where we are with the budget. It's been out there for a month. If anyone has any questions or comments at this time, I'm happy to take them.
Any questions for Dave? Seeing none. I guess we'll move right along, Dave, to the budget review of spending to date.
Okay.
We can see your screen, Dave.
Thank you for the verification, Stephanie. Excuse me. Okay. So we're going to talk about the results through March of 2025, obviously. The net activity in the operating account for the month was just over $1.1 million. The usual suspects in terms of money we spent in terms of expenses, payroll and related expenses was $709,000. Contact center was $132,000. Outreach was $103,000. That does include expenses for our community outreach program that we implemented this year and is going on. Software licenses of $76,000. And so those were the majority of the significant expenses for the month. We were over, just under $272,000 of a positive variance for the month of March. Year to date, we have a negative $1.1 million variance. But as you might remember, that was because we didn't transfer $5 million in the current quarter. And so that's why there's a negative variance because we had enough money in the operating reserves. But on the expense side, we're $3.6 million better than budget. So that's the positive story there. In terms of bond money, we spent about $98,000 this month. That's usually been our typical monthly run rate as we continue to build on fund recovery enhancements for the authority. So that was just about what we expected to spend for budget this month. Year to date, we've spent about $820,000, and that's over an $80,000 variance year to date for bond money. And so we expect to be a little over or maybe just at budget for the bond money by the end of the fiscal year. How much bond money we have left? We have just over $1.5 million. And so, like I mentioned earlier, we expect to be at about $1 million by the end of the fiscal year. Moving on to contribution. Oops, sorry about that. Moving on to contribution activity. We had a negative $34.3 million for the month. That was $5.4 billion less than what we budgeted. As usual, the greatest negative variance was in benefits paid for the month. The benefits paid for the month were $35.2 million. For those of you keeping track of the weekly run rate that we frequently talk about, it was $8.8 million for the month of March. And on a weekly basis in March and actually going into April, it's been running at about $8.8 million every week, almost every week. So it's been pretty consistent lately, I have to say. That run rate is up from about $8.5 million from the prior month. But like I mentioned, it's been 8.8 lately going into April. So we'll see what happens towards the end of the month, but we expect the monthly average to probably be about the same for the month of April. Contributions, it was a small month as expected, only about $500,000, just slightly under budget. Investment income came in at over $2.1 million. We are still earning 4.4% in the short-term investment account. And so that resulted in a positive to budget of $155,000 because we budgeted at 4%. Benefit administrative fees were just over $1.9 million. That includes the 3% increase that AFLAC implemented at the beginning of the year. And so that'll be the regular number for the following few months. Year to date, our activity in the contribution fund is just under negative $700,000. That is a negative variance of $28.4 million. And again, I know I sound like a broken record, but as everybody here surely knows by now, the benefit activity has been higher than what we budgeted a year ago. And that's the biggest driver of the negative variance, offset by positive variances everywhere else, including contribution revenue, our fund recovery efforts, investment income, the $5 million of administrative fees we didn't transfer over, and the benefit administrative fees are also ahead of budget. The contribution fund balance at the end of March is just over $565 million. So no issues there, still solvent, and the balance is right about where we expected it to be based on the latest projection. Looking at the balance sheet, our total assets were $583 million. Again, the largest assets, what's in the short-term investment fund account of $547 million. Still have $17 million in the impressed account over at AFLAC. Net fixed assets remaining at $2.4 million. That number is not going to change till the end of the fiscal year. Bond funds, like I mentioned, were just over $1.5 million, and the operating account has about $13.7 million. And like I mentioned earlier, we do plan to transfer that into the contribution account and ultimately the STIF account where it will earn interest. In terms of liabilities, they are still the same, $12.8 million for what we owe for bond funds, and we will be making the next regularly scheduled payment of about $2 million in June. And as far as year end, we still expect a positive variance in terms of expenses of about $4.3 million. So we expect the expenses to come in at about $14.2 million. Income less expenses, we expect to be about $1.5 million, still positive. About $419,000 less than budget, but again, it's negative because we didn't transfer the $5 million over from operating reserves, which is not necessarily a negative thing to have when you have enough money in the bank to cover expenses. And last but certainly not least, the contribution projection is basically the same as it was last month, coming in at $14.6 million. Again, worse than budget because of the higher benefit trends, but the net activity will still be positive at the end of the year. And so the contribution fund will be at about roughly $580 million at the end of the fiscal year. I know that was quick, but it's been pretty much business as usual from a finance standpoint over at the authority. And again, I'm happy to take any questions from anybody at this time.
Any questions for Dave? Quiet group this morning. Okay, we'll move on. Any old business? Any new business?
I do have a piece of new business. This is John Scott.
Great.
I have made the decision that I'm going to leave the Paid Family Leave Board of Directors effective May 15th, giving Representative Candelora enough time to find a replacement. I'm now a full-time resident of the state of Florida, and I don't think it's appropriate for someone who's not a resident of the state of Connecticut to be serving on a board that actually has taxing authority over the citizens of the state of Connecticut. So while I've enjoyed being with the group for all these years, I think it's time for me to pass on the torch to someone who actually lives in the state. So I'm just giving everybody a heads up that May 15th will be my last day.
John, thank you so much for all your service. You are one of our original members, so it's been 5.5 years. So
Yep.
we really appreciate all of your service and everything that you've brought to the board.
Thank you.
So we will miss you.
Thank you. It's going to be, I'll miss you guys too. It has been a fun and interesting ride being with the group since day one. And I think we've done some good things, but as I said, I think it's time for me to pass the torch.
We get it,
Well,
John.
thank
And
you,
again,
John.
go ahead, Mike.
You're welcome.
No, I just wanted to echo what Aaron said. Thank you, John. It's been a pleasure serving with you for, can't believe it's 5.5 years,
I know.
but enjoy your time in Florida.
Thank you. Thank you. I already am. It's 75 degrees and beautiful sunshine today. And but I do miss Connecticut. I have a lot of friends and family still up there, but it was time for a change, and I'm really loving it down here. And so here we are. But thank you for everybody and supporting some of the stuff that I've asked the board to go through over the years with respect to keeping an eye on our finances and everything. So it's been a good run, and I hope whoever fills my seat is equally as good at just keeping an eye on things.
We appreciate that, John, and we appreciate your guidance along the way. It's been very helpful. And so we like an active participatory, I think I just made up that word, board. So, but thank you. We
You're welcome. You're
will
welcome.
miss you.
Thank you.
We will. Thank you,
John, if
John.
Sorry.
All right.
And John, I just wanted to say it really has been a pleasure serving on this board with you. I think one of the things that I miss is the ability to have civil discourse, right?
Right.
And even when there is not agreement, respecting the opinions of others. And I just really appreciate how you've shown up and our ability to have these conversations in a meaningful way. So.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So John, I also appreciate that you said it's going to be May 15th, which means we'll see you at the next board meeting, right?
Yep. We'll have one more
Great.
board meeting, and we'll go from there.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. All right. Well, I guess if there's no new business other than John's,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
yes, a second.
Second.
Yeah.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
。 Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. The time is now 9:22. We'll adjourn, and I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. You
Have
too.
a lovely
Bye,
weekend,
everybody.
Thank
everyone.
you, Ellen.
Right.
You too.
Bye,
Thanks, Ellen.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.